Good morning, evening, whatever it is out there. I know that the TTP attendees are joining us today, so we want to welcome the TTP attenders. Um, they are currently having a conference this week, and the microfocus products are being talked about, and also what you admins are doing in your environment. So, TTP conference is really quite valuable. So, if you haven't attended, I'm sure you could still register and get in. I appreciate everybody that's online that's attending. We are currently going live for this ZENcast Live and joining in. And I appreciate the TTP conference. I know it's the end of the day for those out there in Europe, and appreciate you going through all the TTP conference and then hanging on for this ZENcast. So I appreciate that. Um, we are currently going to be talking about what's new in version 8.2.1 of Service Desk, and new announcement. I just moved into the product manager role for ZENworks Service Desk, so it's quite timely. Um, and so as we move into get going through Service Desk, that being a product manager should help enhance this stream, being able to increase ZENcast's um, view and get more guests in here so that you guys can get more information about what ZENworks is all about in the different areas. So May 4th, we're going to be doing ZCM 2020 Update 2. Now, it's not released yet, but it's getting close. They're gearing up. It's going to be a couple months yet. It's in beta, but I thought we'd get a foothold on what's going on with Update 2 and some of the changes. So we'll go ahead and let you know that the ZENcast YouTube channel is here. You obviously found us. You can watch recordings on the support and training site on the YouTube channel. And so if you, like last week, we did ZENworks imaging, and you can go back and see what we talked about there. It's the first and third Tuesday of each month, 9 o'clock Mountain Time. And as I move into this role, I think we can get another slot for the other parts of the globe. So that hopefully will help. Thank you. I appreciate that, Etienne. Um, Details and recording on the Unified Endpoint Management site. As mentioned, I'm going to move this over here, grab this, move this over here. And this is just for the endpoint management. There's more playlists under the microfocus support and training, but you can see the full playlist here of all the ZENcasts. Also training materials for the other topics in ZENworks. So be aware that that's there. I also we've put up a blog for the upcoming schedule. So if you want to forecast yourself and see what's coming up, you can see today's April 20th, and you can see May, June, July, and what we're doing in those days. And then also down below are links to the recordings out on YouTube. So we try to make it very convenient for you to be out on the forums. This is, of course, the forums, the community forums out for ZENworks, and you can see all the listings here. Okay. A little bit of housekeeping, just so you know, you can log into YouTube chat to join the conversation. You can ask questions. I'll be monitoring that um, chat so that I can respond to your questions or provide answers or whatever. You can also, if you want to direct message somebody that's asking a question, you could put an @ in front of their name, and they'll get a direct message from you. You'll see the command prompts with the exclamation point in that throughout my presentation, and that will give you the opportunity to put in that command to get the response. Like for instance, if we wanted you to see the PPTX, you'll see that link so that you can download it. Hello, CIS Techs. Appreciate you coming aboard today. Thank you for visiting with us and joining in the conversation. We are also, I recommend to subscribe to the channel and put in comments down below. You'll get notifications through Twitter, or if you're logged into YouTube, you'll get notifications when we go live. Okay, a link to this presentation is here, and I also put it down in chat. So if you download this presentation, or if you're watching the recording, you should be able to get this presentation. Also, some last minute things. Double check your autoplay. I like to keep mine off, and then I try to put 720p 60 on the quality. Okay, you can see the past presentations and recordings, as I mentioned, on the YouTube and training. So I have a question from Brian. Is JDK can be an alternative instead of JRE? You'll need to elaborate a little bit more about that, Brian. I need to know in reference. In general, I'm uncertain at this point. But if it's referencing a particular product or a particular function, go ahead and elaborate on that. So here's the ZENcast schedule. We're currently doing 8.2.1, what's new today, upgrade and config. We're going to talk about what's in 8.2.1. Hello, Kurt. Glad you're here. May, we're going to go into 2020 update 2, and then we have other things like mobile management. We'll have a guest on for that. We'll talk about some ZENworks malware, I hope to, in June. Maybe ZENworks contract license management. July 6th won't be a stream. I'm actually on vacation that week. And then ZCM imaging with WinPE, which will be a part 2 of last week's. We had Moises Morales on. He talked about ZENworks imaging. We didn't really have time to get into WinPE, so we are going to have him on again. Okay, and these are subject to change depending on what's happening with the different products. We do want to thank TTP EMEA 2021 for joining us. We appreciate you guys being here. If you don't know about the TTP, feel free to go out to the ttp.org, and you can obviously register here. You could see the agenda. There's a lot of activity going on there this week. A lot of hard work put into it by that TTP team, and we appreciate Peter Atkins and his teams for putting that on. So feel free to go on out there and check that out this week. You can find things on all the different products. There's keynotes and so forth. Okay. Also, the MicroFocus portal, I hope it's getting better for you. We've been working hard to clear things up. I hope you can open up cases if you need to. If you haven't been out there for a while, go out there and make sure that you can open your cases, get your licenses, so that way we could assist you in getting your cases done. But we'd hate to have you not have worked for you and you go out there in the middle of a upgrade where you need help or something. So do double check. If you download this PPTX, you'll be able to get these particular links. It has some videos series on what the new portal looks like, what you need to do. If you do go to the old portal and it's still active, I didn't check today if it was, then don't create cases in there. Okay, don't create SRs in there because it won't go anywhere. All right, but you can go, if it's open, you could get some licenses and stuff there. But we've moved over to the SLD, which was software licenses and downloads. And there's some, if you have discrepancies in your area, feel free to contact through these emails here, EMEA, AMX, and AAPJ. Okay. It looks like CIS Techs has answered that question. Thank you very much for doing that. Alex, hello, thank you. Don, yes, I've worked it around most of my vacations before, but this time it's going to be a little bit longer. But unless you want to sit in, we can always do that. All right. ZCM Suite. So we're currently at 2020 Update 1, and that's TID 7024523, where you can get your ZDCs and agent cleanups and all that stuff. Remember, your appliance online update security patches are in February and May, and the mirrors are synced. We had some issues with the mirrors, but they're synced. Update 2 beta program is in progress. So if you're involved in that, thank you very much. We appreciate all the feedback and testing so that we can get out a quality product for you. ZCM 2017 extended support expires end of this month. Okay, so if you're still on 2017, please make plans to move to 2020 soon. There are some resources out there on this. There's a 2020 update cookbook that will help you upgrade from 2017 to 2020. Okay. So ZCM itself, again, we're on 2020 update 1. There's PRUs out there for April. We did see, we had some people calling, hey, what's with the PRUs? Normally they're right out at the beginning of the month, but we did have some lag there the last couple months, but it should resume right at the beginning of the month here in May. So be aware of that. We have a lot of activity going on with update 2, and as we'll discuss in the next ZENcast. Imaging driver updates, suspect maybe end of May. Don't know for sure. I asked Moises yesterday. He says uncertain. They're working on it. It's close, but they're doing some final testing. So keep a lookout for those. All right. We'll give it to you here as soon as we find out. Okay. And then remember your patch finder moved to the SLD. You can get some patches there. And ZCM Mobile. If you haven't heard about the iOS APM certificates that happened in March, go to that TID there. And then, of course, we did have some issues with ZCM 2020 appliance log rate growth. So there's a TID there. All right. Do know that if you own the OWS suite, you can get the supplement of all of the OS ZENworks suite. This keeps wanting to go here. Of the ZENworks suite by purchasing an add-on. So be aware that you can actually get the full disk encryption and some asset management and desktop containers through there by purchasing an add-on. So don't feel left out. If you're in the Open Workgroup suite, you could still get the full complement. Desktop containers version 21.1 is out. It includes Turbo, Hub, and Streaming, which used to be an add-on, but now we've combined it all together, especially with the at-home workers. And we've also integrated in the 21 version learning tools interoperabilities for those of you in academia. You probably know about the LTI, and then it integrates with Blackboard, Canvas, and Moodle. So if you go out to our ZENcast Live, which is at the bottom, you could see Jason Blackett going through that process of adding it to Moodle or Blackboard or Canvas. And then he also has a presentation there. And then, of course, from the community, you have a mention of your simplifying remote learning from desktop containers and application streaming. So there's an article out there as well. So know that that's out there. If you own it, you have a great advantage of being able to use those products a little more effectively for those at-home workers. Ron just told us that 21.3 is out. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that mention. I'll be sure to update this slide for the next presentations. That's good to hear. If there's any additional features, I know they were working on something. I can't remember what it was, Ron, that they were adding to that to .3. And I think Jason covered it in his presentation. But if you know what it is, feel free to join in there and let us know. ZPM Patch Tuesday highlights is out there. So April 2021 is available. Darren does a great job of bringing the patches in regularly, talking about them and giving us an understanding when you go through patches for different vulnerabilities, for different OSs, and what to expect when you're doing some updates. Okay, so it has a lot of different products in here as well as third party and what's going on with those particular patches. Ron mentions that 21.3 now also supports publishing native installed apps on the app server. So be aware that that's going on. We can't wait to see a webinar on that. That'll be pretty exciting stuff, being able to enhance that product in that capacity. ZENworks Service Desk 8.2 8.2.1, I got an email today that it was go for release. So I expect it by end of week, if not sooner. And we're going to cover some of those capabilities today. We're going to, as mentioned here, we had a target date of the 26th, but it looks like we got everybody rallied behind it and got it taken care of. There is a customization cookbook out there, which is 7025033. If you want to customize the branding, if you want to customize colors for your corporate network and those types of things, do so. Go to that customization cookbook and you'll see that. There's also a ZSD 8.2x upgrade tutorial. I did this before the release of 8.2.1. But I added the 8.2.1 in because it's just an online update from that point, from 8.2.0 to 8.2.1. So it should be fairly simple. So I modified that particular training video, even though I don't display the online update. It's a fairly simple process and it's explained there. ZRS, currently at 7.2. We are going to be releasing version 7.8 when ZCM 2020 Update 2 is released. So that's the target, those two going together. Okay. Remember those special characters, though. We have this in a few products, and even the databases don't accept them sometime, and that's part of the issue. But there's the special characters. Be aware of those, both with ZRS and the other products, LDAP groups, and those types of things. And it's just the nature of the beast sometimes. So, ZAM, Asset Management for Education. We had Gartner Peer Insights released an article, and so it is displayed out here, and you can get some more information about the asset management and how we're doing in that arena. I hope to be able to do more asset management in the future. We've had a couple ZENcasts on asset management, so look them up in the recordings. And then ZMM, the ZENworks Mobile Management Legacy, not the ZCM with mobile, but ZMM. The support ended December 31st. There are some details around if you absolutely are in transition and need some support on that. I believe Notify is still there's some type of an arrangement that Notify might be able to help in that capacity. But anyway, it has ended. Support has ended, and contact us if you're running into issues, and we can give you the best way to move that forward if there's issues and you're trying to get off of it. I did want to shout out to the Filer team. Robin Redgrave does something similar to this. He does a drop-in once a month, and he does pretty much similar everything Filer he covers, and he has demos and demonstrations. So I want to give a little shout out for him. He's doing a great job on that Filer drop-in, so feel free to check him out as well. Events today, TTP EMEA Online Virtual 2021, as we mentioned earlier. Did I have it? Well, I have it here. So they are online this week. Go out there, check it out. A lot of great activity going out there. They have just a lot of stuff going on. So we appreciate them being a part of this area and having the Micro Focus TTP organization behind us is really a great support. We get a lot of testing out of them, a lot of great responses and so forth. Some of our webinars, there's a webinar index. Oops, sorry. My mouse is quick today. Webinar index, so if you're looking at looking for the past webinars, you can find them here. Micro Focus support and training. Also the Micro Focus Universe 2021 Americas. You can go out and see some of the sessions there. Again, we had a great mention of Micro Focus, a major player in unified endpoint management. It's in this article here. You can find it online. There are a couple of surveys out here. This is what I was responding to as far as let others know how you like ZENworks, and then the ZENcast progress survey. Give us information on what you feel ZENcast should be for your environment. and the ZenWorks community getting started. As you notice on the top banner here, the community is moving starting on April 19th, which was yesterday. They're moving um, the communities forward. So I don't know that there's any different links. I haven't seen it yet, but we are making that change and wanted to make you aware of it. So we haven't gone away. If you get a bad page, let us know. And then recap, ZCM imaging, WinPE. Last week we had Moises on. He did some ZCM imaging. And we're going to do more of the WinPE demonstrations next week. I'm sorry, in July 20th on that ZENcast. So check that out. Put that on your calendar if you're looking for the WinPE from one of the specialists on the backline support team. Today's agenda, there's a lot to talk about. So we're really just going to jump into what's new in 2021. We do have that up and running, so we can show you a few things, but it has a lot of things to do with quick calls and dynamic forms. And when we went to the new coding and we got to the point where we were going all new coding, we still needed to finish up on some things that we had already in play in the old coding. So we pretty much shored those up. You guys have responded and said, hey, this is working a little bit differently. How can we change this? So we modified those and put those in. There's a lot of good stuff, even going from 8.2.0 to 8.2.1. So be aware that this stuff there's a lot of, do your upgrade because there's a lot of good stuff there. Email capabilities in workflows. So as it gets to a certain workflow, you can actually have an email go out to the customer response and so forth. Change request status is part of adding a note. And then the new privileges, hiding the older request tabs. There's privileges in there to hide those. Going from, remember, the old coding, and then they combined all of those. So we'll look at that in our presentation. And let's open that now. Is it here? Nope, that's the link to the presentation. Let me open up my presentation and go full screen. Okay, today, April 20th, 2021, we're going to run through ZENworks Service Desk 8.2.1, and it involves quick calls, it involves request types and dynamic forms, email automations, technician workspace usability, SSL certificates, remote control, store shortcuts, and update requests. So let's move through these so you can see what's going on with this, with quick calls for starters in the main request workflow. We currently have, what's new is the 8.2.1 quick calls. They were available in the quick request workflow only, and now we can move them forward. We have them in the quick calls in more, and we can show you that coming up. ZENworks Service Desk 8.2.1 quick dials, the main, wow, tongue-tied today. Hang on a second, let me grab some water. Thanks for bearing with me. It's in the main request workflow. And then show selected items now only exists as auto-selected when a quick call is used. And then quick call template now has subject flagged as optional, so you don't have to put in a subject. And these are responses from you guys that said, you know, it'll flow better if we do this or that. So we really appreciate your feedback in here. And what are the benefits? Technicians can now choose to open a normal request, quick call, or knowledge-based requests, all from the normal workflow. Advanced items selection is available for quick calls. When quick call is used, the only items selected are shown by default, and then the technician customer can be forced to fill in subjects. So if in the quick call template. So if we look at this, the main request workflow, you have in the upper corner here, select a request type for items. You can actually go straight into a quick call and get that list. The quick call template is here. And then you could select categories. You could select item types right from this particular page. So we've enhanced those pages to help it flow a little bit better. The request type and dynamic form. So when defining a dynamic form, you can now use dynamic forms for quick calls. Now it does require an assignment, for a quick call template, but you can also do it in incidents, service requests, change requests, and um, you can technician can select the dynamic form when creating a request based by request. Okay, you can define a default dynamic form for incidents, service requests, or change requests so that you can gather that information you're looking for as the ticket's opened. Um, and multiple forms can be specified, and the technician can select the one that matches what customer is reporting. So let's look a little bit about that. So right from the get-go, request type dynamic forms, you could then select quick call, incident, service request, change request, problem, so forth. And you can ask which category best describes you can start asking those questions for whatever type of call they're opening. So for that particular incident, um, you can have a quick, the main thing is the dynamic forms now in quick call as well. Okay, dynamic forms are very valuable. So for instance, this is one with additional information. In a quick call, we've opened a quick call request, and we have additional info here at, and the details down below. So you have those for this particular, so it should help. When you have a quick call, you still need that information, right? Certain details about that quick call, whether it's password reset, whether it's network access, whether it's device, management or a bundle or store, you still need some additional details. So being able to put a dynamic form in there is very, very helpful. Another thing to talk about is email automation in workflows. Enabling the sending of a custom email in the workflow as you go through. It gets to a particular pending state or open state, you can actually have it send an email. So that's actually in the workflow setup. So be aware that that's a great added benefit now in 8.2.1. And you can use macros, ZSD macros in the email. So you can put the special item in brackets, and it'll draw in the item that you're talking about or whatever you're looking for those variables. Automatically change the state of the incident after sending the email. So right in the same page, you can automatically change it, or there's a setting also now that you can change it while you're doing a note, and we're getting to that next. Automatically flag that the state requires user input. The benefits are providing automated email notifications to the end user with customers, so you have that communication going on. It gives them that peace of mind that it is being worked on. Implement workflows that require customer input through describing what the user needs to do via the email. Okay, so again, that communication is critical when you have an incident or a request and certain issues going on. Here's a short view of what you could see. So you can see we've created a send custom email, which is a new tab, so that you can actually, once you say yes, it opens up an email in that particular workflow, and you can put in what you want it to send. And you could see here that item type variable is in here, and item type is also in the subject. And you could see that the item type Store Galaxy S8 is drawn in because that's the item we're talking about. And you can see in the actual comments as well. So this will really help with the communication of that ticket while it's in process and moving forward. Update request status in Note. And this is what I was talking to just a minute ago. The technicians can now change the status in the request as part of adding the note. So when you're in and you're adding a note, instead of hitting save and then going back in and modifying, changing the request status, you could do it right in the note itself. Because this note is put in or emailed, you can then change the status on hold, waiting for customer, or whatever you have for that particular status right there. Maybe it's even a closure. The final note is thank you for working with us. I'm glad we were able to resolve your problem. Boom, closed. Okay. So reduce steps while the technician is working on those products or those tickets. Another one is the technician workflow usability enhancements. Well, URLs and descriptions, notes, and subjects are now automatically available as hyperlinks. So now it's in the note or subjects or in the main body. They come in as hyperlinks so that they could just click on them instead of having to cut and paste into a browser. Link to open customer details from incidents. After opening a request, you can automatically go to the request details. And then when saving a request with missing mandatory fields, it will automatically, let's say you're filling out a request and you missed a field that's mandatory, it'll automatically take you to that field so that you could fill it in instead of searching through the page trying to find out what was missing. If only a single user item is selected, then they are automatically expanded. And then scrollable items. So now for type and category and items, it now has a scrollable, and we'll show you that in just a minute. Quick call as subject is now optional, as mentioned earlier. And again, this is so the technician has fewer clicks. We're able to get through the ticket faster because we want to have more time to actually resolve than working on opening tickets and clicking around. So it should create a much higher effectiveness for the technician. And again, here's the URL that it actually modified so that it has a click in the subject line. Also, the confirmation, go to request page. You can go directly to the request page when you have, after it's successfully created. Before it would just open it up and then you'd have to go back over to the request page and open it. Here it goes directly to the request page. And then you can see here that customer Jason Blackett, it's an individual and it opens up his fields there. Show selected entries. You could show active items only and you could show assigned items only. But show selected entries is now a new checkbox for you. So you could do that. And you can see the selected categories and selected items. So since it's a single, it will then open up his categories and items. Technician workflow usability enhancements continued. So here you have select categories, you have select item types, okay? And you can see they're listed down below the items. There's a clear fields there if you need to clear it. And then you have select categories, item types with the scroll bar, so you can actually scroll down and search for the one you need. Okay, so he's select category, he put in an A. Anything involved with A shows up in that list dynamically. Same with item types, and then he did 100. We did 100 in the next screenshot. Anything with 100 will show up, and you could scroll through them, finding the one you need. And finally, this is a quick call. The subject line is not mandatory. All right, you can configure it so it's not mandatory and move on from there. All right, any questions moving along? Feel free to put them in chat. I appreciate you guys watching through this. The SSL certificates trust changes. So the new system preference, it's a new system preference to determine whether to trust the remote connections by default. And then the new option when adding an SSL source to trust the certificate if it's not issued by a trusted entity. Wow, I didn't turn that phone off, did I? There we go. So some of the benefits are improved security, allowing you to control what remote server certificates are trusted and which aren't. Okay. So if we look at this, you can see there's a new character here under the email. This is under setup for email. There's a certificate there and you can view the certificate here. Okay. And then of course, when you're in system under privileges, you can look at the trust remote connections and make that selection there as well. All right. So there's an added component there under the system privileges. Remote control, a lot of work's been done bringing remote control more effective to the technician. A lot of times it was just that item that you could go to. Well, now you can select any device. You can also do the IP addresses. All right, let's go directly to the remote control on this one. This is the old way. We have an item. It shows up as 100231. You're going to remote control it, and that's what you have. Well, now you can have a drop-down list and actually have device addresses in here as well, and custom device address as well. Okay, so that'll really help out getting to the right device that user is on at that time. Store assignment configuration via GUI. Now you can set bundle assignment flags in store template or store item. So what happens when a store item is configured, you can configure it to show up how they are installed by ZENworks. Each item can have its own custom settings. And what do I mean by that? Well, you know, in ZCM, we can assign it to desktop, quick taskbar, application launcher, and so forth. Well, now in store, you can also do the same thing. Okay, so you have store templates. You can pre-assign where it's going to go. And when you have ZENworks integration, you can actually have that bundle and assign to a particular location, let's say the desktop. And when somebody goes to, I need Adobe Reader out in the store, they go to ZSD store, they click on Adobe Reader, it talks to ZENworks to get the bundle, but it looks at this template to see what where to place it, and it'll put it on the desktop for the user to install. A lot of effective things going in 8.2.1. I'm really pleased with this, how they've really taken this off. And you know how some of the simple things, right? We've changed the coding, we have the requests, the operations, the change, and so forth. And we combined everything in one page, all the requests, the service requests, incidents, change requests, problems, right? They're all there now. But every once in a while we get this page is moved to a new location, right? Which is just a little more cumbersome than anything else, because that take me there takes you back to the main requests page, right? But now there's a setting that we can set to hide those old pages. Okay, so these pages won't actually show up. Your requests are your requests. So, and that's under the setup privileges and hide old pages down near the telemetry area. So that's a system setting, and you can make those changes there. Okay, if you don't already have ZENworks Service Desk, request the ZENworks Suite eval today. Try it out. A little bit of promo there. If you do own ZENworks Service Desk, ZCM, or ZENworks Service Suite, then check online updates. You can get your 8.2 appliance to upgrade to 8.2.1. Okay, so if you have a ZCM or the ZENworks Suite, you do own a portion of ZENworks Service Desk Standard and a couple of licenses. So you can actually get the store going and utilize that, even if you have another ticketing system. Okay, but you can definitely kick the tires and so forth. And that's the presentation on that. Close that here. Cancel, yes, save. All right. So let's go to the lab a little bit and kick things around. We're going to log in as Bob. Right? And so we have requests turned on here. Or we have all of our requests. I wonder, we probably want to do this, right? Nope, not too big. Let me do this. You know what? You don't need to be seeing me. And we can do full screen. All right. That might help a little bit better. Okay. So we have, let's see if we go to change requests. We have this page is moved to a new location. Take me there. Where does it take us? It takes us back to the requests, right? And then it highlights, obviously, the change request. Well, under setup, You can go to setup, setup privilege. Oh, sorry, setup privileges. And it's a system. You have an idle pages here, and we can hit save. And now if we go back to the user and we have our requests, when we go to change, it goes to the other change things that we may need to configure. Okay. So we do have, so that your requests, those go away. So they're just a little more cumbersome than anything else. There's a couple of things. This is your export here, export data. This is your configuration. So if you don't like all of the different items that are on here and you want to adjust these, you can have up to 15 columns. You can see last action. We don't need open time. We don't need created. And what that'll do is that'll adjust those there. Okay. Then you can also adjust the width and move these around. Okay. Status, maybe move the status over here. All right. Some of these were in 8.2, but 8.2.1, and then you have your create down here. What type are we creating? Do we want to create a quick call template? Overheating issue. Okay. Put in details here. You have your highlights to help you understand what you're looking for. Okay. Description of issue. Cannot connect to primary server in ABC app. And we'll say 10 or less. Asset affected. Asset number affected. I don't know what it is. Not mandatory. We can do first occurred a week ago. Have we rebooted? We could say yes. Again, this is that dynamic form. Okay, did it resolve? No. Yes. So what we're doing is we're going through this dynamic form that we've attached to this quick call, giving us additional information that we may need for that particular call. Okay, and maybe that's, we could say desktop. And then you can add attachments. You can drag or drop or add by selecting and browse and create quick requests. So you could see I failed to put in the customer and it took me right to that location of what's missing. So we can go to, see if we can go to Jason. We'll do Jason on that. Oh, why am I not getting response here? Add a customer. I thought Jason was in here. Maybe. There we go. Jason's not in here. Dodged the bullet on that one, right? Okay, so we got Bob. We're going to create a quick request. Oh, do I have another? Item is required. What did they put in before? There we go. So you can see it's taken us directly to those areas that are required, and obviously I didn't fill them all in. Custom field 2 is needed. So they're giving more details. All right. Created successfully. Now we can go directly to that particular request. And there we are. All right. Escalation status, technician. You have layer 1. You have notifications. There's your bundle management. I don't know if they have that set. But let's go to the store. I know they have the store up, but I don't know if what the, oh yeah, we got some store stuff in here. You can see this one is promoted. We'll use Notepad++. You can see the details. Okay. See the requests that are from that. So these are store, and then the store templates. And here's your ZENworks selections, as well as mobiles. Okay. In this particular site is available for you to kick around and understand, see how things work. There was a blog out there that had the link. It's also in my presentation, so be aware. This is also, I'm in as a supervisor, obviously. Here's your getting started, which is an hourglass. If you want to exit getting started, you just select the hourglass again. Okay. And again, I'm going to chance it. Yeah. I was told today that they're starting the process to get all the documentation in order to release by end of week. So that should, your help will take you to the documentation. So that should be up as soon as we get the 8.2.1 documentation in place. There was a, let me see if I have, mine was 81 or 82. We're going to go to my lab. (9443) administration console. I threw this up yesterday. And we're going to check online updates. None yet. So again, we just got the go this morning. And so I expect by end of week, no later than the 26th, but expect end of week. The other thing is you might see, even though you're at 8.2, you might see the same release here that's in your online updates. Go ahead and install it. It's okay to do that. We've gotten some calls saying, hey, I'm already at 8.2, but this is a new release, 8.2, and I'm already there. You don't have to worry about that. Just go ahead and feel free to install it. Again, we're registered to the online update for 8.2, and it's not online yet. Okay. So this one I propped up. We don't need this one anymore. Okay. So there's your ZENworks bundles that we talked a little bit about. Dynamic forms and stuff are also in here. We have our service requests. You can sort also. To help the technician out. Types and category, let's see, service. So workflows. We go to, let's say, in progress. You can see down here the send custom email. Right? If we select yes, you then can create, when it's in this state, you can send them an email and you can actually change the state or status with this email saying, I replied to you, we are now moving forward to purchase your product, or whatever that state may be, which are selected here. So you can obviously move forward from the state to these states. Okay, So a lot of great enhancements there as far as communicating to the customers. All right. All right. If there's any questions, feel free to jump in and into chat. I know we have some very reputable people in there that can answer your questions if I can't. As we go to customer, you can see that we have alerts at this time. We have the requests for me logged in. I am Bob. Okay. The store items I'm available, I'm able to access. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, I think that was a great improvement as well. Changing the status on a note. So we could go back over there. Let's pick up over there. Oh, requests. It's just those simple things, right? Being able to do those simple things. Uh-oh. There's our store. I've had this happen before. I think it's gonna burp on us. It's taking too long. Apologize for that. I think I'm gonna lose connection. Okay. Give it one more second here. But yeah, just some great improvements from you guys that you guys work in it, in and around it, and I appreciate any feedback. You can email me directly, Paul.Pedron@microfocus.com. I hope we can have more interchange conversations about Service Desk so we can keep improving it. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So let me go back to here. So I hope we can have some more interchanging conversations about Service Desk. Please use the forums and please use the ideas exchange. It's very, very effective, and vote on there. Go out there every once in a while and vote so that you can push those things forward to the top of the list. There are some resources here. That resource, ZSD 8.2.1 in the cloud. Hopefully we'll bring it back up, find out what's going on, bring it back up. I'm glad we were able to display a little bit of it. ZSD forums are out here. ZSD online documentation cookbook if you're upgrading. The nice thing about the ZSD upgrade from 8.2.1 to 8.2.1, you have to be 8.2.0, and it's just an online update. So it's very simple. You go out there, run the online update. It'll take you through the wizard. You've done it before, and you'll have the 8.2.1 complement of features. You do have to go, if you're lower than 8.2, you obviously have to do a side-by-side because 8.2, we changed the OS. So there's an online. And my training video shows you how to do that. You know, you're basically copying the VA storage over and, well, a few other details. Go through the details, check out the upgrade cookbook, and you'll have it there. Also, and that's that version 8.x upgrade details and demonstration. It's in this link right here, so you'll be able to go to that video if you wanted to watch that. Okay. And then 8.2.1, what's new presentation? Both this presentation, the ZENcast, and the other presentation that we did inside here about all the features, they're all here. So we appreciate you guys just hanging in there and being there. It's late in the evening, I know, for you guys in EMEA, but I appreciate everybody coming in and joining our stream. Um, if there's any other questions, do we have any questions? I don't see any coming in from chat. I know a couple came in and we were able to answer them. Thank you for those that answered those. Um, we do have the latest ZENcast schedule. Check with us next time on the 2020 Update 2, and we'll have some what's new. There's architecture changes in 2020 Update 2. There's some, um, they've fine-tuned some remote control, and they've got some remote chat. So I just remember way back when we had chat in ZCM, ZDM. Those remember ZDM. But anyway, yeah, they've done some great enhancements, and being able to containerize them so that we can start, if needed, move to the cloud and actually have by containerizing them, we can have less downtime when you need to upgrade a component or those types of things. So uh, check that out. Next time we meet will be May 4th, and we will be happy to go through some of those things as well. Apologize for the sun. I don't have any window coverings yet in the home, so trying to get my studio here set up right. So we have a little bit of challenges. But I'm glad you guys were able to come and join in with us. Um, we appreciate you being here. We're glad that TTP was able to join us. I don't see any other questions in chat. I'm looking forward to meeting more of you and interfacing more with you as I take on this role for ZENworks Service Desk and help improve it for your environment. Uh, if there's no other questions, I'll be on chat for another uh, 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions that you think of, I hope I covered everything that's coming up in Service Desk. And I hope that you guys have a safe evening and enjoy the conference, those of you that are in TTP. And we'll see you next time, okay? Stay safe, everybody. You too, Kurt. Thanks.